Today's guest on the program is Oz Pearlman. He's a Penguin favorite. He's been a huge part of Penguin from the beginning, and it's a pleasure to have him here with us today. Oz, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect. Loud and clear, Maxwell.
Oh, man, thanks so much for taking the time to do this.
Oh, thank you.
Cool. I want to jump right in. First things first, how'd you get started in magic?
How did I get started? Question you get asked at every show ever. Normally I tell them I bought a book at Barnes & Noble 3 weeks ago, but I'll tell you guys the truth. I got into magic when I was about 13. I saw a cruise ship magician. I was on stage. He did the sponge balls. Then I hounded him the rest of the cruise. I pretty much followed him around. And then I became obsessed. Went to the library, took out every book they had, didn't even give them back. Finally, I gave them back overdue fees. I went to the magic store, became friends with everybody there, would go to every lecture I could go to.
What magic store was it when you were a kid?
It's been through many iterations. It's changed lots of names, but it's called the Wonderground. It was in Royal Oak, Michigan. I don't know if it's still in Royal Oak. It might have moved around. It used to be in Ferndale. It's been all over the place. But there's one shop there in the Metro Detroit area that's been it's been around for years, and that's where I got my start with the guy. Michael Mode is a guy who put out a trick called Napkin Rose. So his name was out there. He's worked with Copperfield. He was the first person I ever saw. He not the first magician I ever saw, but he's the first one to sell me a trick. He sold me the Rising Card Deck. First trick I ever bought.
Nice. Well, how long after that did you start to gig?
I got my first steady, paycheck going on when I was 14. I went to a local restaurant by me called Zia's, like a family-owned Italian restaurant. 14-year-old little guy, just walked in there, amazed them, charmed them, did my sales pitch, and I had a show. I had they paid me, I made tips, and I started with my first business card and started getting shows.
So how much were you making there at that first gig?
I wish I knew. I wish I had, I never took notes. I don't remember. I can't imagine it was that much. I bet it was maybe 50 to $100, which is quite a bit of money when you're that age. And, you're getting tips here and there. You're getting a few bucks here, $5 there, $10 there. It adds up. I mean, from that young age, I saved. I bought my first car on my own. I mean, I paid for most everything around the age of 14 or 15 onwards. I had all my own spending money from doing magic shows.
Man, that's great. So what was the next step? When did you take it to the next level?
Well, it's hard to say. I was semi-pro all the way throughout college and throughout my first 2 years after college, and I had a full-time day job. And I was always semi-professional. I wasn't doing this full-time. It wasn't my living. But I don't know what the next level is. That changes, depending on how you interpret that. Is it the next level of, how good you are at it, how you market yourself, or if you're doing this full-time for a living, which could also mean a lot of different things. Some people could do this full-time and be working a lot, and some people do it full-time and don't work very much, but they make enough to subsist. So, I mean, in essence, I made the transition in April of 2005 to doing this full-time professionally, and that in my mind indicates a real big, mark in my life where this is when I became a professional magician. Like, this is what I do now for a living.
Oh, so, I mean, what was the moment that you decided that you would become a professional magician? When was that?
I don't know if there was ever one set moment where you could say I sat down and, it said right now. It just, my business grew. My schedule started to fill up. I started to have consistency in my shows where it's not just waiting for the phone to ring. I knew that I had things going on. I knew that I had event planners that I could count on. I started to get more and more word of mouth. I had a few restaurants I worked at. And it's really just a numbers game. If you're good at what you do and a lot of people are seeing you, then you're going to get work. It's just, that's flat out like any business. If you provide a good product or a good service and you're out there with good marketing, then people are going to book you. So for me, it just became, I thought I could make enough by doing this to cut out the day job, to give it a shot without. And it was, somewhat of a risk. I'd saved up enough money to take a shot at it, take a stab. And I don't know if I would say it was following my dream, quote unquote, like some people that are actors and they really want to make it. For me, it was just, my other job wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't my passion. It paid the bills. It was enjoyable. It wasn't miserable, or else I would have quit much sooner. But it was just, it seemed like the right moment at the right time to leave. Because everyone at my own job was saying, what are you doing here? They could appreciate the talent that I had and that it was being squandered on sitting behind a computer doing something that, they didn't have that kind of talent to go perform. So why hold back? Why not realize it? And once I had work and saw that it was a viable business, it became just a matter of, making it happen.
Can you tell us a little bit about what a typical gig is like for you now?
Typical gig. Well, it's changing. That's evolving too. I mean, everything's evolving for me in a big way because I'm moving more and more towards corporate. I'm doing a lot more corporate events. I still do the bulk of my business is private parties. I would say the average party for me is either a bar bat mitzvah, is some sort of a birthday celebration, somebody's 50th birthday party, someone's anniversary party, occasionally first communions, bridal showers. I mean, imagine festivities where people are having friends, anywhere from 20 people at someone's apartment for a Hanukkah party, which I just did many of, or a bar mitzvah with 300 or 400 guests, and I'm strolling. So I'd say 75% of my shows right now involve strolling, magic, and mind reading. I'm strolling. That's my forte. Close-up magic, close-up mentalist. The other 25%, not only am I doing strolling, because I almost always do strolling, I insist on doing it because it allows me to interact and meet people close up, but also stage show or stand-up show, depending on how you want to categorize it. And that could be anywhere from, once again, 20 people at someone's home to very large events. In fact, what you see in this envelope right when I was starting, me mailing a DVD performance of me at a corporate event in front of approximately 600 people in Dallas to a video editor because we're making a new corporate promo reel. So I just, that's being sent out today, but that's the market I'm targeting. I'm targeting corporate events whereby they like my clean-cut look, they like my, the wholesome presentation that I'm giving, which is, good for today's sophisticated corporate audiences, people that tend to be a little skeptical, and that's what I'm targeting. That's what I want to do more and more of because I enjoy it. I think that's my niche. That's kind of my mentality. I'm good with corporate audiences because that's my background. I went to school for it. I worked on Wall Street. I can interact well with that type of person.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your character when you're performing? Who is he, the performer?
I think it's me, but just a slightly more funny version of myself. Very much not very alpha male. I'm not your over-the-top performer. I don't walk up to the group and I'm zany, and it's not like that at all. I walk up, I'm me. How is everybody? Say hello, and I start to entertain. And I don't really change who I am. I have a little bit more jokes involved. I'm more interactive. I let my guard down. But overall, it's still me. It's just a version of me that's very much in control and very much focused on audience management and trying to really get big reactions out of every trick. And also marketing. I mean, when I'm doing my show, I'm not just focused on that moment and creating memories for them and making it a great show, but also I'm insinuating little things so that people know that not only do I do this here and am I making this moment for them special, but I can make their next event special. I can make their own party special, which for a lot of people, they don't even realize. They don't think about it, and they go, wow, this was so fun here. I'm having such a great time. I'm having a party in 6 months. Why don't I have you at my party? And you'd think that would be obvious for someone to think, but it's not obvious. If you don't mention it in some sort of way that doesn't seem sales pitchy, a lot of people just don't think about it. I mean, I would never have thought to have a magician at a party of my own, but now that I am a magician, I can see where it fits in to play well. So I'm in the people business. A lot of the time, I'm more connecting with people than I am even doing the magic. A lot of people, when I'm done with the show, they just want to talk to me. They want to get to know me. They want to tell me about their own experiences. And that's where, if you're a likable person and you have good charisma, that carries over.
Great stuff. I want to get for a minute to the other side of Oz Pearlman. In addition to the magic, I think a lot of people do know this, but it's something that fascinates me about you and your character. 7th place finish at the JFK 50 miler. That's the largest ultramarathon in the country. First place finish at the Chicago 50 miler. It's your 4th consecutive first place finish. 4th consecutive win at the Chicago 50 miler. The 28th fastest American ever to run in a 50-mile event with a time of 5:25:26.